Summit Teacher 7, Mr. Berry here. Today I'm going to go over some of the basics with Google Docs. Now Google Docs is just like Microsoft Word and it has the same features, and I love using it, and it's actually part of what I teach with the adult school. So one of my subscribers the other day asked me, hey Mr. Berry, would you go over the basics of Google Docs the way it is now? Now I do have classes and video classes that are actually go over these with my computer literacy courses there, so you can actually see everything there, but I guess it's a little bit long to go through all 16 lessons. This is just going to be reviewing some of the basics of Google Docs. So let's take a look at it, you and I. Come on. And here we are inside of Google, the home page there. You just go to google.com. Now, the reason why we're here at google.com is because the very first question that the subscriber asked was, what's an easy way to find Google Docs? Is there some way to just go to it easily? And the easiest way that I have found is simply to go to google.com. And once you're at google.com, if you haven't already done so, please log into your Google account. Now, after you've logged into your Google account, you'll notice right here where it says Google Apps, click on Google Apps, and you have all your different apps there. If you scroll down a bit, you should find Google Docs, and there it is. So I'm going to click on Google Docs, and there we are. So we're in basically the basics of Google Docs. We're at the beginning of it. Below, you see all of the work that we've done so far within it. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with a blank new document. So you have these templates here. This is called the template gallery. There are many different types of templates there that you can actually use, which is kind of like the beginnings of a document that you may want to work with. But what we're going to do is we're going to click on blank document. And here we are in Google Docs. Now I'm going to hit F11 on a Windows machine, or you can go full screen on a Google Chromebook, and you'll basically have the entire screen now filled with the app, the Google Docs app. Now another question was asked of the subscriber, and that was, how do I name the document? Now there's two ways to do that, but I'll show you the easiest way. Notice at the very top it says untitled document. Simply click in there, and I'll call this one my first document. So first, boom. If I click down back into my workspace or into my page, you'll notice now it says first. That is the document's title or its name. The next question that the subscriber asked was, hey Mr. Berry, how do I share the work? Well, again, there's two ways. One way is to go right here to File, and you notice that you have different options to do things here, such as share, and you also have rename. If you want to change the name again, you can do that, or again, you can click on share. Right here is share. So that's what I found to be the easiest way to share my work with other colleagues. And all you got to do is click on share. And once you click on share, you're given options to key in someone's email address, and you can share that document with someone there. Now I'm not going to do that here because it will show all of my friends' emails, and they probably don't like me sharing their emails with the world. All right. So now you notice that I have these buttons up here that say, these words I should say, that say File, Edit, View, Insert, Format, Tools, Extensions, and Help. We want to use those to make sure that we're seeing or viewing all of the tools and all of the aspects and other things that we need for our work. So if I go to View, notice that I have different options here. I have the mode, and of course right now we're in editing mode, but you can change that if you just wanted to go for a viewing of an already done document. Maybe it's a book that you've written and you just want to view it without accidentally changing something in there, where you can change your mode to viewing, but we have ours onto editing. You can basically go into comments, and if you're sharing with others, you can turn off their comments, you can hide their comments, or show all of their comments, or do other options there with other people's comments and suggestions. We can go in and collapse tabs and outlines sidebars. So if we wanted to do that and just close off everything and get to look at just the work, you can do that as well. Now here's some things that are really important, and I show these in my classes here. One is show print layout. That's what I use, and that basically means that when I type in here, so if I say once upon a time, right, once upon a time, I'm beginning a story, and if I look on the screen, that's the way it's going to show if I printed out the document. So you see the outline of your page, and you see your text in there. If you've inserted pictures or other graphics in there, it'll show those on the screen exactly the way they will appear on your printed page. So again, I'm going to go to View, and I'm going to go Show Print Layout is turned on. Next is Show Ruler. What's that? Well, if you look at the very top of my document, you have a little ruler, and I'm going to explain that there. It's off. I go View, Show Ruler, it's on again. You'll notice that there's numbers in here. These are, you can do the inches, you can also do centimeters. But if you notice here, there's this little upside down like blue triangle. Well, guess what? That shows, if you click on it right there, it says left indent, and this is your right indent. So how much does the first letter start from the edge of the page? And by default, it could be 1 inch. If you wanted to change that, you can actually go to File, Page Setup, and now you can change your margins. And right now mine are 1 inch all the way around. If I wanted to, I could go 0.5. Now it's a 1/2 inch. You hit the Tab key, 0.5. Now it's 0.5 from the bottom. Tab again, 0.5 from the left, and 0.5 from the right. So I've just changed all my margins quickly without having to actually drag these across. So now you'll notice this is 1/2 inch from the top of the page and from the left side of the page. So showing the ruler is nice to know where everything's located on your page. Show equation toolbar. I usually don't need to do that on Google Docs, but if you were doing some work in college or in the university and you needed to have your equation toolbar up, boom, now you know where to find it. Next, show non-printing characters. Now if I click that, you notice right here we have this paragraph mark right there, so that's a character, and every time I hit the space bar, it shows the space character, which is this basic little dot in the middle of the line. And sometimes it's important to see the invisible characters in case something doesn't fit right. Like this, say for example, you've inserted a photo into your document and it's just not fitting exactly where you want it to go, and you're saying, why doesn't my picture go where I wanted it to go? All you have to do is go to View, Show Non-Printing Characters, and then take out things that you don't want, like the extra spaces that you don't see normally, but whenever you click on Show Non-Printing Characters, they appear, and you can take those out really easily that way. Okay, I go View, Full Screen. Now, if you're needing to, and you don't need any toolbars, you just go Full Screen, and there's now full screen without your toolbars. And if I hit Escape, boom, I get my toolbars back. So it's nice. I like my toolbars, and normally when I'm typing, but if I ever need them out, if I'm doing a presentation in front of class or in front of others there, I very easily just go to View, Full Screen, takes off the toolbars for me right away. All right, let's start with File. Now, if you're doing a work on a document and you've been working on that document but you want to start a second document, just go to New, and then you can go to Document. So make a new blank document or from a template. If you've done work on a document before, perhaps you're doing a diary, and so you're making alterations to a diary that you've started a few days in the past. You already have it saved in your documents there in your folder. Well, guess what? You can open and that will show all of your work that you made in the past. Normally it shows the most recent work towards the top of the list. Next, make a copy. Well, let's say that you like your document, but you want to make 2 versions of the same document. You click on make a copy, and now you can make revisions on the document that you're working without changing the original document where it stands there. There's another option to share my document. Now, we've already talked about sharing the document by the share button at the very top, but now you know of another way. File, share, and you just click on share with others, and then you can see your contact list, or you can bring out, if it's a new person, you can bring out their email address and simply key in their email address, and then they'll share with those specific people and no others. If for some reason you want to publish to the web, as into the world, guess what? You can actually do that too, so simply by going to share and then publish to web. What if you just want to email the document to someone without really sharing it with them? You just want them to read it and just basically have no control over anything like that. Just basically have a file on record. You can just simply click on email, and then you can email this file, email the collaborators, or email the draft. So it gives you options there. Now here's an actual question that someone asked me. That same subscriber, he asked, how do I download the document onto his Chromebook or onto his Windows machine to save it as a file on, perhaps he's saving it onto a thumb drive? Well, that's easy to do. Go to File, and there's your options. You can download the document there. You can download it as a Microsoft Word document, which is the most common way to save your work. Normally, anyone else would be able to read a Microsoft Word document very, very easily. That's universal type of thing. So save it as a Microsoft Word document, and then you can have it with you on a jump drive. There's other options here to saving your file, but like I said, the first one there is the most common one to use. Next, if you wanted to rename this, you can click on rename, and now I'm going to call it second. So I renamed it. Now I do not have a file called first any longer. I now have the file called second. So simply go to rename, type in the new word, hit the enter key, bang, it's changed it, it's renamed it for you. You can move the document. Now these documents, they are saved where? They're saved inside your Google Drive. That's why you want to make sure that you log into your Google account, or either through your school or through your private account before working on this, so you know where your work's at. You'll save it in your Google Drive, but if you want to move it to a different folder or subfolder within your Google Drive, all you have to do is click on move, and you can move that file to any location that you want to. You can add a shortcut to the drive too to make it easier to find in the future, but normally it's easy to find your stuff in your Google Drive because at the very top you can actually key in the name of your file and find it that way. Next, you can move it to trash. If you wanted to get rid of it, delete it, easy way to do it is click on File, Move to Trash, and it'll delete it for you. Next, you have version history. Now, version history, if you're doing a lot of work within the document, you can click right here where it says See Version History, and you can notice work that you've done in the past with it. And so here, over on the right hand side, it says May the 11th at 2 o'clock, I did some work with it. And you'll be allowed to change your version there, or choose which one you want to work with. So here's your version history. Any changes, any major changes I should say, that you make, like adding a paragraph or adding a photograph or deleting a photograph, anything like that would be kept right here for you, so you can undo something even if it was done a long time ago. Alright, now I'm going to go back to my document. Again, that was File, Version History, where you can actually see every change that you've ever done to the document. Next, you can make available offline. Now, this often is the case where I have students, they don't have the internet on their Chromebooks all of the time. And so maybe they're working with their work, they're doing homework, other things with other classes, and so they want to click on File, Make Available Offline on that Chromebook that you're using, so that you'd be able to bring it up and edit and make changes to that document even if you don't have the internet. That's easy. Just click on Make Available Offline and you have all those options available to you. You can click on Details and it'll show you when it was created, modified, who owns it, the location, and it can actually show you other details as well. Next, we have security limitations, so you can add securities to it, like a password, other things, so you can do that. You can change the language of the document. Right now I have mine as English. You could do page setup, which we talked about at the beginning of the show here, and we want to go to Pages, apply to the whole document if you want everything to be seeing these changes. Orientation. Now the orientation right now is portrait. That means the document is up like this, but if you chose landscape, the document will lay on its side, and you can do things that way if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep it as portrait. Paper size, if you're using a non-standard size paper from your printer, you can change it to match what you're printing on, which is kind of nice. Page color. Let's say you're using blue paper, for example. Well, you could change it to the color that your page is, so you can see the result, the way it's going to be printed there. So you can use a blue page if you wanted to, but I'm going to keep mine white because all of my paper that I have over on the printer is white already. Here's margins, just like what we talked about at the beginning. You have your top, bottom, left, right margins, and margins, remember, is just the space from the edges of your document to where the printing starts or ends. All right. And if you want to make this change to all of your documents in the future, you can click on Set to Default, and that'll make all of your changes proceeding forward. If you go paperless, that's as if you're working with a web page. A lot of people actually design web pages within Google Docs. It's very easy to do, and I had a class of this in the past. Well, that's exactly what we would do. You simply go to Page Setup, go Pageless, and the Pageless format allows you now to add wider images and large tables and other content without interruptions and of the page breaks. All right, so I'm going to go back to Pages there because I don't want Pageless on this example here. I'm going to click on, actually I'm going to click on Cancel because I don't want any changes done at all. Next, I'll go to File again. So that was Page Setup. The last option is Print. Now, some people have asked, what is a good printer to use with your Chromebook? Well, actually, all you have to do is, I do have videos on this, and an easy way to do it is just to go on your phone and ask Google, what is a printer that is compatible to my printer? If you're looking at printers at the store, like at Walmart, you can actually get one of their HP printers. Simply say, hey, is this model printer compatible to my Chromebook? You'll either say yes or no. Most Canons are not compatible with Chromebooks. So you'd be using like either Epson or an HP printer. Most of those are compatible with Chromebooks. And it'll even show you in the Google answer, it'll show you step by step on how to add and print with that Chromebook with your printer. But anyway, there you go. You click on Print, which is Control P for the shortcut if you wanted to print out your document there to your printer. The next one we want to look at here is Edit. You can undo, redo. Undo means undo your last action that you do. But if you keep on clicking on undo, which is Control Z, if you keep on going Control Z, it will keep on doing or undoing each of the steps that you've done in your document. And if you undo too many steps, well, guess what? You can redo them and bring them all back. You can cut, copy, paste, and that's when you want to bring something. Perhaps it's an image or it's a document or part of a document from someplace else into your document. You can highlight it, copy it, which is Control C, click inside of your document now, your one that you're working with, and paste it in there by saying Control V. One that we use a lot in class is paste without formatting. This is Control Shift V. And so let's say that you have found some text on the internet and you want to copy that text, but you don't want perhaps the styling, the font is something that you don't want to bring over to your document. You don't want to change what you have. Well, guess what? All you have to do is copy it, but then go back to your document and paste without formatting, Control Shift V, and that way it'll be the same format as what you're working with originally, so it won't look like all of a sudden there's large text and small text and large text. It'll all blend in with the text that you're currently using on that document. If you needed to do something like select all, that means select all of the text as well as the images and spaces. Remember, it's going to include spaces within the document. You can go select all, it selects everything. So if you wanted to change the spacing, the line spacing, that's one thing that you could do there, or even the font size or the font style. There's delete, and that's a little bit, if you had something highlighted, go edit. Now delete is optional there, and you'll delete whatever you've highlighted. So I deleted those 3 dots. If I go Control Z, it brings them back again. Okay, go to edit, and then I can find and replace. Find and replace is something that we use a lot in the classes. So you want to find a word and then replace it with a different word. Like perhaps you're writing something and it was with a name in there. Perhaps the word was Jose and you want to replace it with the word John. You click on Find and Replace. Find everywhere we have Jose and replace it with the word John. Now right now I don't have Jose or John in my document, but what I'll do is, once upon a time Jose saw a black cat. Okay, so there's the beginning of a story. I got a character in there named Jose and he saw a black cat. Let's say we wanted to change that name. Go to Edit, Find and Replace Jose, replace it with John, and I simply click on Replace All. Boom, now John saw a black cat. Boom, it's that easy to change. Now believe it or not, even if there's 1,000 pages inside of your document, it's going to change all of them pretty much instantly for you. So it's a lot better than in the days of the 1990s when it had to go through each one there. All right, let's go to View. We talked about View already. Next is Insert. Another question from my subscribers was how do you put in an image? Well, you go to Insert, Image. You can upload it from your computer. You can search the web. You can use your drive, use a photo or from your Google Photos, use it from your camera, or even a URL. If you happen to know the URL or the web address of a photo, you want to use that photo, bang, you can actually just simply key in the address of that photo and use it that way. Most common thing that we do would be using it from your Google Photos or from your Google Drive. It's the easiest way that we do it from class there. A table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down. So I hit the enter key a few times. I'm now on my insertion point. This is called the flashing insertion point. And wherever it is, that's where the text or the image or the table or anything else is going to be when I insert it. So I go to Insert, Table, and I'm just going to float over these blocks. And notice they're becoming highlighted as I move my cursor over. Well, if I wanted a table that was a 7x3 table, click it once. Now I have a 7x3 table inserted into my document. If I didn't want that, Control Z it disappears. So Control Z, remember, is the undo. So again, that's Insert, Table, choose what you want in there. So if you wanted a 7x2, boom, there's a 7x2 table in there. To jump between the cells, you hit the Tab key and now jump your insertion point in between the cells with each tap, of the Tab key. All right, you can insert a drawing, And yeah, let's just do a quick drawing here real fast and actually show you how that is done. I'm going to go in and say align to the center. So now you notice when I clicked on align to the center, it's now my insert points to the center. So I'm going to go insert, drawing, new, and now I get the drawing page where I can actually do a drawing if I wanted to. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to actions, and I'm going to word art, and I'm going to say hello. And now I'm going to go to, let's see here, enter. So I just hit the enter key once, and now I have my hello, my word art sitting there. Now I can change it. I can change the colors that are inside of it. So notice I click on this paint, can of paint, that's called the fill color. And well, if I wanted blue, a darker blue I should say, I could change that there. If I wanted to change the font style, click on the Arial, which is the font, and I could say, ooh, maybe I want lobster. That's one of my favorite ones that we use. Your options for the fonts will change according to what you've selected. So if you've never used drawing and you've never changed your fonts before, you'll usually just see your basic fonts there. But once you begin changing and using different fonts, they will appear at the top and be called recent fonts. Lobster is one of my favorite ones to use, and you can see I like that style that it has. Okay, go ahead and let's make sure that you do click on the word art itself to receive or see those tools that are associated with word art. If you don't want to see those tools, click outside of the word art, those tools go away. If you want them back, click again on any letter, bang, they appear. Other things we could do, let's say if I wanted to change the border, well, if I wanted to make it a thicker border, let's go 3px. Now you notice I have more of a border there. I could change the border color by simply clicking on that icon that says border color. It looks like a pencil with a color below it. Maybe I want this to be a different color. Perhaps I want it to be magenta. Let's try a dark shade of dark blue 3. There we go. It's easy to change, and you can add an image if you wanted to, or do other things like undo, redo, or stall, or still there. Now if you're done with it, click on save and close, and there is hello now inside of your document. That's how easy it is to insert word art or insert a drawing into your work. Let's go back to insert here. So that's a drawing. You can also insert a drawing from your drive too if you've already saved a drawing in the past. Next, you can do charts. So if you wanted to insert a bar chart, perhaps you are in a university or in a college and you're taking classes and you need to make a document that has a chart in there. It's now very easy to include charts, bar, column, line, pie charts, or you can actually insert a chart from your Google Sheets. Maybe you've already done this work and you want to use one from one of your saved Google Sheets files there. You can actually do it from Sheets. Insert a horizontal line. That's basically just a line that goes straight across, as you see right there. I'll go Control Z to take it off. So it was just easy to insert a horizontal line, that easy. Emoji, that's like a smiley face. If you want to insert a different type of emoji, you have different options there. Smart chips. Basically, smart chips allow you to insert things that such as dates, people, a file, even a color event, or a place or a placeholder chips. So smart chips are really things that basically collaborators or other people that you're sharing the document may see, but if you print out your document, you're not going to be seeing smart chips because there's something that basically people interact with on a computer. Once you print it out, you won't be seeing the smart chip there on paper. Drop down. So if you need to include a drop down menu, you can include that now. Footnotes. Footnotes appear at the bottom of the document. So if you're doing a research paper and you needed footnotes for some reason, bang, you now know how to insert footnotes. You have building blocks. Now, building blocks are really great if you're sharing your work with other people. You have what's called insert building blocks. You have meeting notes, the email draft, simple decision log, and even you have more options there with these building blocks. If you needed to insert a signature, there are ways to insert a signature into your document, and that's by going the e-signature. Next is special characters. Now, special characters, if you click that, you have basically all these different symbols and characters that you can insert into documents. And there's many categories here. So if you go Latin, there's the Enya. There you go. That's not Enya. It's very close to Enya. But you have different options there for these Latin characters that are there for you. Now you know how to insert special characters or special letters. Maybe they're not on your keyboard, but you can still find them. Next, you can do equations. So you can insert an equation. You can do tab, watermark, which I've used a lot. Maybe perhaps you want to put a fancy watermark to show this is your work and no one else's work. Well, you can do watermarks. You can do header, footers. This allows you to basically edit your header and footer. A lot of times people want to change the page numbers or put something else in there, like it says created by and then your name. You can change the header or the footer that way. There's page numbers, and my book, as well as the students' work, a lot of times they turn in their work to me. It has page numbers so that if I can actually see, hey, it's on page 3, maybe something's important on page 3 I need to go to. It's very easy to find the third page or whatever page number that you need. So inserting page numbers makes it easier to read and go back and forth within a long document. Breaks. Break is basically where you stop your printing on a specific page for some reason. Maybe there's something on the printed page already. Perhaps there's a chart or a graph already on the page and you don't want any text on that part of the page. You can insert a page break as well as a section break or these other types of breaks there on the page, so nothing would be printed in that area that you have defined. You can insert a link. Now, links are great if you're sharing the document with someone else, because they can actually click on that link and it'll open up that other document or that other page for them. But links don't really get printed the same way as they are seen on a computer, right? Next, you can insert comments, an emoji reaction, bookmark. You can bookmark your work, my documents or my work, my lessons, for example, that I work with or teach from. Everything has bookmarks, so I can very easily go from one lesson to the other, or perhaps a part of a lesson. Everything's divided into bookmarks, and if you're writing a long novel perhaps, and perhaps you want to change or have an easy way for you as the author to go from one place to another within your novel, adding a bookmark makes life easy for you. A table of contents is something that usually appears at the beginning of your work, and notice you have different options there for inserting a table of contents. Next is format. Now, format, if I highlight my text, I now have the ability to change my text very easily, so I can make it bold, italic, underline, strike through, superscript, subscript, so it changes how my text appears. I can change the size. I can even do all caps or all lowercase. I could do paragraphs, so I have many options with my paragraphs, many options for aligning and the indent, line spacing and paragraph spacing. I can change my columns, so sometimes you have to turn in work that perhaps it needs 2 columns. You can do that and you'll change your document so that you have your 2 columns or more. And you are allowed to do more columns by simply going to more options if you needed 5 columns, for example, which is a lot of columns to go through on a normal page. Bullets and numbering. So you can add, if you're doing a type of work where you need to insert a numbered list or bulleted list, now you know how to find that. Simply go to Format and then Bullets Numbering. Again, there's headers and footers. Allows you to jump into the header and footer and change things within there. You can change how your page numbers appear. Page orientation, again, is found there, whether you want it portrait, as we have there in the on the video, or landscape. The document will be laying on its side, like a calendar, for example. Many calendars have the document laying in the landscape orientation. We could switch to a pageless format now. We've already talked about what that's for. That's good for web pages. And if I highlight a table, now I go to table, there we go. I can now change my options there for the table, such as I can insert a row or a column, or I can delete a row or a column, or I can delete the whole table if I wanted to. I can do other options there with my tables and my columns and my rows all right here. If I had an image that was highlighted, I would have options there for image, and if I had borders and lines highlighted, I could change my borders and lines. And if I wanted to just simply clear all the formatting, I could highlight the text and then click on Format and then Clear Formatting to take out any special formatting that I didn't like within the document. The next one, we have Tools. This is an easy way to run your spelling and grammar check, but normally this is going on all the time. So if I misspell a word here, so I'll misspell a word, and there we go. That's not a word, right? It's underlined in red. So any word that's not found in the dictionary, bang, it'll be underlined in red. If the word is in green, it's a grammar error. So I'll say the cats. Now I'll say, the cars. The cars is in the house. Within a minute or two, there you go. It underlines it in blue, sorry. It shows there's something wrong here. It says the cars is in the house. It's not lining up. It's not correct. They're not correct. So simply right click it and say consider changing to the word car. Now it says the car is in the house. Okay, now they agree with each other. The is. If you wanted cars, you'd say the cars are in the house, right? So you can change either way. Next, I go to Tools. We have Word Count. There's my word count to show you how many words you have, how many pages, words, characters. So if you needed to turn in a document that had 1,000 words or characters or whatever, you can right here and count up your words for you instantly. All right. Next we have Review Suggested Edits, and next we have Compare Documents. So if you had 2 documents that were similar and you wanted to compare the 2, that's an easy way to compare different documents. You can add citations, do an e-signature again. You can go line numbers, linked objects, even work with your dictionary. You can translate the document to another language. So if I go translate the document, choose a language here. So I'm going to go, let me just see here, Japanese. So I put in J for Japanese. I'm going to translate this to Japanese, and let's see, there it is. So now it's changed my text to Japanese, which is really nice. So it's an easy way to do a novel, and if you wanted a novel, maybe one in English, one in Spanish, you can do it instantly. I do recommend that you proofread everything with a native speaker first before actually publishing the work. So make sure that the Google Translator worked as intended. All right. You can do voice typing. So let me do voice typing now. And so I go Tools, Voice Typing. Google Docs is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Oh, excuse me. I gotta click on this right here. And it says here, use your microphone. Yeah. Google Docs is fun to use. Okay, notice it's using the Japanese there. So it's translating everything to Japanese as I am talking. So there we go. I'm going to turn that off there because the document, this is the document that's translated to Japanese. Very interesting there. Next, notification settings. So you can change when you get notifications, such as when others are using it or editing the document. Preferences, you can change preferences within the document, and you can change your accessibility options there. Extensions. Extensions are basically tools that are third-party tools that you can actually insert into or use to edit your document. And to get to those, you simply click add-ons, and you can add certain third-party tools. So here are third-party tools such as mail merge. This is something that we do in class. We do mail merge, and if you wanted to merge an address with many addresses, excuse me, if you have, let's say you have 1,000 addresses and you want to merge those 1,000 addresses with one document so that they all said the same thing, but they would say at the top two different addresses there at the top, you'd use this tool called mail merge, and you would insert one document with 1,000 different addresses. Now your result would be 1,000 documents. Each one of those documents would have the unique address and name on them, but the same contents, the same letter in the middle. All right, so that's mail merge. And that's how you find it. You go extensions, add-ons, get add-ons, bang, you got it there. You can go apps script 2, which we won't get into much detail for the basics because that's more advanced, but you can also work with app script if you needed to there. If you still needed more help after this, you can always click on help, and there's many different types of things here, such as show keyboard shortcuts. Now there's many keyboard shortcuts that I share with my students, and in the 16 lessons we use hundreds of different shortcuts, and my students learn them all. And if you want to review all the keyboard shortcuts, here they are here, and they are divided by style or by type here. You can do that. So hey, so there you go. Now you know the basics of Google Docs. I mean, everything there with all the tools and the other features that we have within Google Docs. It's a good place to start. And I really was thinking that this video was going to be short, like less than 5 minutes, but it comes out to being over 45 minutes long because I go over basically everything there in detail. Hey, if you like these types of videos, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to my channel, Selma Teacher 7, and share the video with others, as I hopefully, if it's helped you, that it'll help others as well. And I wish to say thank you to everyone who stayed to the end. And if you like these types of videos, again, I do actually have playlists where I actually show the 16 lessons of computer literacy that I actually teach there at the adult school at Kings County Unified School District and Selma Unified School District there in the past. Alrighty. Well, big thank you again to all those, and you all have a very good day. Bye-bye.